Tonight, President Trump tears up the Iran nuclear deal. The president pulling America out of the deal. Tonight, leveling new sanctions against Iran. The Iranian people watching it live. President Trump ignoring America's allies who urged him not to do it. And tonight, Iran's new warning already. Also breaking, the resignation, official just a short time ago. New York's Attorney General is out. Several women accusing him of physical harm and what he allegedly said to them if they ever left him. The FBI on the scene at this hour. Authorities digging right now for up to 6 missing girls. Where they're looking, our team is there. The volcano disaster growing tonight. The lava incinerating neighborhoods, more homes gone. And authorities tonight saying you must go. That deadly military plane crash, the C-130, and that nosedive. Tonight, what's now been released, and you will hear the calls for help. And made in America as we travel across the country all this month. Last night, Boston's Fenway Park. Tonight, Chicago, Detroit, and right outside New York City. What they're growing for your mom.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. And we begin with President Trump's major announcement today being watched all over the world, pulling the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal and imposing tough new sanctions on Iran instead. The president, in a speech seen here in the U.S. and carried live in Iran, calling the deal disastrous. America's allies had urged the president not to do this. They are reacting tonight, and so is Iran, already with a new threat. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off.
Defying our allies and keeping a campaign promise, President Trump is taking the United States out of the Iran nuclear deal.
The fact is, this was a horrible, one-sided deal that should have never, ever been made. It didn't bring calm, it didn't bring peace, and it never will.
This is no half measure. The president declared he is reimposing sanctions waived as part of the deal, all of them.
America will not be held hostage to nuclear blackmail.
Under the Iran nuclear deal, Iran agreed to shut down its production of weapons-grade uranium and allowed regular inspections by the International Atomic Energy Agency, which says Iran has stuck by its side of the deal. But the president says it falls short, that it doesn't prevent Iran from supporting terrorism or building up its missile program.
At the heart of the Iran deal was a giant fiction that a murderous regime desired only a peaceful nuclear energy program.
Anguished by today's decision, former President Obama. The Iran deal, his chief foreign policy accomplishment. Today, in a statement, he warns the United States could eventually be left with a losing choice between a nuclear-armed Iran or another war in the Middle East. And tonight, from Iran's president, an ominous threat.
من به سازمان انرژی اتمی
Hassan Rouhani announcing he has ordered Iran scientists to prepare to start enriching uranium again if necessary. When I recently asked the president about that prospect, he answered with a threat of his own.
But the Iranians say they'll restart their nuclear program if the deal is...
You'll find out about that.
Are you concerned about that?
It'll be so easy for them to restart.
Mr. President, are you...
They're not going to be restarting anything. They restart it, they're going to have big problems, bigger than they've ever had before.
Today, the president cast his actions on Iran as a message to North Korea.
The United States no longer makes empty threats. When I make promises, I keep them.
The president announced Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in North Korea again tonight, laying the groundwork for the much-anticipated nuclear summit with Kim Jong-un.
A lot happening at once. John Karl with us live from the White House tonight. And John, Iran had agreed to those robust nuclear inspections. International inspectors found that Iran was in compliance with the deal, and the president's still pulling out today. Now North Korea on the agenda. How's the president going to convince North Korea to agree to even the same level of inspections Iran was already allowing?
David, that may be the single most important unanswered question as the president goes into his meeting with Kim Jong-un. After all, North Korea already has nuclear weapons, and it is the most isolated, secretive nation on Earth.
John Karl leading us off tonight. John, thank you. American allies had urged the president not to do this, to stay in the deal. Our chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran, live in London tonight. And Terry, our allies already responding tonight?
That's right, David. They are dismayed and bewildered right now. You saw the European leaders, President Macron of France getting a red carpet treatment at the White House. Chancellor Merkel of Germany meeting with President Trump, trying to change his mind because they and every other country that signed this deal think this deal is working. They say it's put Iran's nuclear program in handcuffs, and it's been inspected, and it should continue. There's also a sense of loss almost, that as they go forward trying to forge their own deal, America under President Trump isn't a reliable partner in these big international agreements like this or NAFTA or the Paris Climate Accords. And their big fear that what he really means by a solution to the problem is regime change in Tehran, and that could make the whole Middle East a much more dangerous place.
And Terry, one more question while we have you. Viewers will remember our trip to Iran. We witnessed the sanctions, the crippling effect on the Iranian people before this nuclear deal was even negotiated. It was just days before the negotiations began, in fact. The crowds waiting for medicine, cancer treatment. We heard President Trump today telling the Iranian people, the people of America stand with you. But how is this decision being received on the streets of Tehran tonight?
Anger and defiance, David. They do not believe that claim. Social media in Iran just lit up with a lot of anti-American tweets. That's no surprise, saying that America's arrogant and can't be trusted. But a lot of tweets on those issues you just mentioned. People concerned about the life-saving medications that they or their parents get. People worried about hardliners in Iran cracking down even harsher than they have before. And that fear of war. David?
Terry Moran with us tonight on this as well. Terry, thank you. We're going to turn next year to breaking news just coming in a short time ago. The lawyer for Stormy Daniels tonight now claiming that he has documents proving that the president's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, received about $500,000 from a Russian oligarch after the election. Of course, the question being asked tonight, what was that money for? Let's get right to ABC's Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas with what he's learned tonight. Pierre, good evening.
That's right. Stormy Daniels' attorney Michael Avenatti released a statement, David, laying out a series of banking transactions, including 8 alleged payments by Cohen by that Russian oligarch, who is very close to Vladimir Putin. But tonight it's unclear what those funds were for, and we do not know how Avenatti got access to those records or whether they're authentic. We've reached out to Cohen's attorney, and we've not yet heard back. We do know that the Russian oligarch has already been interviewed by the special counsel's team of Robert Mueller. David?
Pierre Thomas with us from Washington. Pierre, thank you. Next here, the major resignation that took effect just moments ago right here in New York City. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman is out of a job tonight after a New Yorker investigation detailed allegations of violence and abuse by several women he'd been involved with. It is a stunning fall tonight for a man who said he was a champion and advocate for women. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
New York's highest-ranking law enforcement officer dethroned tonight. Another casualty from the Me Too movement he so vehemently supported, taking legal action against Harvey Weinstein, making public statements like this.
We must reimagine a world where predators are exposed and held to account, and survivors are supported and empowered at every level.
4 women now tell New Yorker magazine that Schneiderman is actually an abuser who physically attacked them. 2 of the women, Michelle Manning Barish and Tanya Selvaratnam, spoke on the record, alleging he repeatedly hit them, often after drinking, frequently in bed, and never with their consent, and say that he threatened to kill them if they broke up with him.
These women talk about slapping, hitting, choking. We reviewed medical records and spoke to a doctor who said that an ear was bleeding long after the incident.
Just 3 weeks ago, Schneiderman tweeted support for those who spoke up about the sexual harassment they endured at the hands of powerful men. Now Barish tells the magazine, you cannot be a champion of women when you're hitting them and choking them in bed, adding, Schneiderman told her, I am the law.
No one is above the law. These women should have their day in court.
Schneiderman initially responded to the allegations saying, in the privacy of intimate relationships, I am engaged in role-playing and other consensual sexual activity. I have not assaulted anyone. Then, just 3 hours after the article was posted, he submitted his resignation, saying while he strongly contests the accusations, they will effectively prevent me from leading the office's work at this critical time.
And Lindsay Davis here with us tonight. I know Lindsay and the team talking with Ronan Farrow, one of the writers of this investigation at the New Yorker. And in the meantime, the governor said no one is above the law today, and the Manhattan DA is now investigating possible criminal charges here?
That's right, David. And based on the allegations, there are several possible crimes here, including assault and harassment. And some of these allegations would fall within the statute of limitations.
All right, Lindsay, you'll stay on it. Thanks very much. In the meantime, the volcano emergency in Hawaii, we continue to follow at this hour. In fact, new vents now opening up in the hardest hit community. Some areas still off limits tonight. This National Guardsman testing the air for those toxic fumes, and some areas are now simply inaccessible because lava has now blocked the roads. ABC's Kana Whitworth on the scene again tonight for us.
Tonight on Hawaii's Big Island, residents on edge, bracing for more lava flows after 2 new cracks in the earth opened up overnight. The tropical forest now a river of ash and red-hot lava. Roads slowly being consumed by a wall of molten rock. The number of destroyed homes rising overnight to 35.
You can see the lava has destroyed that home right there, and it's also completely taken over this road. In some places, it is stacked some 20 feet high, and you can feel the heat radiating from it.
While the lava flows are quiet for now, hazardous fumes are still being released into the air. The National Guard taking constant readings.
We have to turn back because it's getting too high.
How many times have you had to turn back since you've been inside?
There's been, I believe, 3 times.
Lines of cars filled with families waiting to see if their homes are still standing. Nearly 1,800 still displaced.
What's the saddest thing for you right now?
Seeing people, I saw 3 houses burn yesterday with my own eyes, burn right down to the ground.
Scientists warning there's no telling when or where the lava could start erupting again.
Even though we're in kind of a quiet period, a lull, there's very much the possibility that activity could restart at any time.
David, geologists I spoke with said that they saw a rise in activity on their models this morning, and that activity is actually moving west, creating new cracks in major highways. It's a situation they are monitoring 24 hours a day. David?
Kana Whitworth from a very rainy Hawaii live for us again tonight. Kana, thank you. Next here this evening, the Air Force tonight grounding every one of its planes for a 1-day review after that string of deadly crashes. Of course, the most recent, that horrific crash near Savannah. You'll remember that image, that C-130 plunging to earth. Shortly after takeoff, 9 crew members were killed. And tonight we are now hearing the frantic calls to 911 from witnesses just now released. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
After this deadly crash of a military cargo plane seen here falling out of the sky outside Savannah's International Airport, the Air Force tonight says it's grounding every single aircraft for a day and ordering service members to go through a safety review. The crash in Georgia last week has now underlined concerns about the safety of military aircraft.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
In the calls for help from civilians on the ground, you could hear the disbelief.
Highway 21, a military jet has just crashed onto Highway 21. A military jet just crashed? A military jet just crashed onto Highway 21. All I know is I saw it take off from the airport, and I know that one of the propellers wasn't turning.
9 service members from the Puerto Rican National Guard were killed. Some of these callers on or near the highway watching this were lucky to be alive.
Holy all right, time to get out of here.
No word yet on what caused this crash, and so far the Air Force is the only branch of service ordering its troops to take a day off for this safety review. David?
Steve Osunsami on this story again for us. Thank you, Steve. And now to the primary showdown in 4 states tonight: Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina. And it comes, of course, ahead of November's crucial midterms. It was last night here we reported on one West Virginia Senate candidate, Don Blankenship, a former coal mining executive. You'll remember that deadly disaster in his coal mine. He now says it was caused by the federal government. Tonight, ABC's chief national affairs correspondent Tom Yamas right there on the ground, and one voter telling Tom that he lost family members in that mine, still voting for Blankenship.
We're going to go everywhere.
Tonight, he's on parole and on the ballot in West Virginia.
I'm basically Trumpier than Trump.
But the feeling's not mutual. President Trump urging voters to reject coal baron Don Blankenship, tweeting, "Can't win the general election in your state. No way."
McConnell has to go to drain the swamp.
Blankenship has been accused of race baiting when he attacked the wife of Senator Mitch McConnell, Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, in this campaign ad.
Mitch has gotten rich. In fact, his China family has given him tens of millions of dollars.
Were you trying to inject race into the discussion here?
No, I was trying to inject the fact that we've lost nearly half our jobs in West Virginia and they went to China.
Blankenship was released from prison last year.
blamed in part for the death of 29 of his miners who died in the Upper Big Branch explosion. Within the past 24 hours, he repeated his claim it's the federal government that is to blame because he says regulators made bad decisions about cutting air in the mine.
You had cousins who died in that mine disaster.
Three of them.
Three of your cousins died in that mine disaster, and you're going to vote for Blankenship.
Exactly. I want an honest crook, and that's Blankenship.
So let's get to Tom Llamas tonight. He's at Blankenship's headquarters. And Tom, Republican Party leaders are really concerned tonight that Blankenship is surging.
That's right, David. The real fear started after last week's debate where Blankenship had a strong performance going after the establishment and really taking a page out of President Trump's playbook. And he says if he wins it all, he will support President Trump despite that anti-endorsement.
David, Tom Llamas on the ground with voters across the country. Tom, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Tuesday. The FBI on the scene at this hour. Authorities are digging right now for up to 6 missing girls. Where they're looking, our team is right there. The carjacking escape, the 11-year-old girl jumping from her father's stolen car. Her father then jumping on the hood. News on their condition tonight. And the breaking scene at this hour. The pictures coming in. The plant bursting into flames. Smoke seen for miles. A lot more news ahead.
COPD makes it hard to breathe. So to breathe better, I go with Anoro.
COPD tries to say go this way. I say I'll go my own way with Anoro.
Once daily Anoro contains 2 medicines called bronchodilators that work together to significantly improve lung function all day and all night. Anoro is not for asthma. It contains a type of medicine that increases risk of death in people with asthma. The risk is unknown in COPD. Anoro won't replace rescue inhalers for sudden symptoms and should not be used more than once a day. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition, high blood pressure, glaucoma, prostate, bladder, or urinary problems. These may worsen with Anoro. Call your doctor if you have worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain while taking Anoro.
Ask your doctor about Anoro.
Get your first prescription free at Anoro.com.
Mom, Dad, hi. I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-thru lane. But what a powerful life lesson. And don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll just forgive you.
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
A Hilton getaway means you get more because you get another day in paradise. Get a sunset on a Sunday. Get more stories to share. Get more from your summer getaway with exclusive Hilton offers. Book yours only at Hilton.com.
In just days, Publishers Clearinghouse could hand you $1 million. But that's just the beginning, because then you get $1,000 a week for the rest of your life. Go to PCH.com and enter now. June 29th, you could win it all.
Next tonight to the developing scene 30 miles from Detroit at this hour. The FBI on the scene as they dig for up to 6 missing girls. ABC's Eva Pilgrim is there.
Tonight, a cold case turned red hot. Investigators digging in the woods of Macomb Township, Michigan, searching for the remains of Kimberly King, who vanished in 1979. The 12-year-old last seen in her best friend's backyard.
Kim actually hopped the back fence and didn't go home, and then I just went in my house.
Nearly 40 years later, police are confident they're close to finding King and possibly up to 5 other girls they believe were killed by Arthur Ream. The child predator is already in jail for the 1986 kidnap and murder of 13-year-old Cindy Zarzicki. This 2008 video from WDIV shows Ream pointing police to the location of the remains.
What he had to do was go up 4th Avenue, and it's right there.
Zarzicki found in these woods 10 years ago, but that site not fully searched. Kimberly King's sister, Connie, has never stopped looking.
It's the most important thing in my life. Until we find her, it will always be the most important thing in my life.
David, police reopened this case late last year. They have interviewed Arthur Ream several times since and say he failed a polygraph. David?
Eva, thank you. When we come back, the plant explosion, the pictures coming in, and the alarming headline today, the high school student collapsing and dying during gym class.
This is your wake-up call. If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, month after month, the clock is ticking on irreversible joint damage. Ongoing pain and stiffness are signs of joint erosion. Humira can help stop the clock. Prescribed for 15 years, Humira targets and blocks the source of inflammation that contributes to joint pain and irreversible damage.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Help stop the clock on further irreversible joint damage. Talk to your rheumatologist. Right here, right now. Humira.
What is it?
The next big thing in food was once a little paper box.
Now we can easily take out food from a restaurant.
Let's stay in and binge watch the snow.
Genius.
Now, the next big thing is the Capital One Saver Card.
Good choice, babe.
Ooh, wait, hold on.
Earn 3% cash back on dining, 2% on groceries, and 1% on all other purchases.
What's in your wallet?
So you think this chip is nothing to worry about? Well, at SafeLight, we know sooner or later, every chip will crack. These friends were on a trip when their windshield got chipped. So they scheduled at SafeLight.com. They didn't have to change their plans or worry about a thing. I'll see y'all in a little bit. And I fixed it right away with a strong repair they can trust. Plus, with most insurance, a SafeLight repair is no cost to you.
Really?
Being there whenever you need us, that's another SafeLight advantage.
SafeLight repair, SafeLight replace.
I've had a heart attack, COPD, a heart transplant, lung cancer, and part of my lung removed. My tip is, if smoking doesn't get you one way, it'll get you another.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
When it's your mission to get a better hot dog in every hand, you gotta make a better dog. That's just what Oscar Mayer does, with no artificial preservatives, any added nitrates or nitrites. And by way, mean by to byproducts, so you can get back to loving them for the love of hot dogs.
Oh, this looks worse than I thought.
Mike and Jen Doyle?
Yeah.
Time for Medicare, huh?
I have no idea how we're going to get through this.
Follow me. Choosing a plan can be super complicated, but it doesn't have to be. United Healthcare can guide you through the confusion with helpful people, tools, and plans, including the only plans with the AARP name.
Well, that wasn't so bad at all.
That's how we like it.
AARP Medicare plans from United Healthcare.
To the index of other news tonight, the young girl escaping from a carjacker in Aurora, Illinois, 11-year-old Kayla Byzanski jumping from a moving car, stolen as her father was pumping gas. Her father then jumps onto the hood of the accomplice's car. The father and daughter were not hurt, at least one suspect under arrest tonight. A high school freshman in Somerset, New Jersey, collapsing and dying in gym class today. He was just 14. They did perform CPR. There's still no word on the cause tonight. The massive plant fire we're watching in Texas City, Texas tonight, a huge fireball and dark plume of smoke coming from the CenterPoint Energy facility, the fire caused by an exploding transformer. No injuries have been reported thus far. When we come back tonight, Made in America is back. Stops in Detroit, Chicago, and New York City this evening. Something growing for your mom.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Shark. What if the vacuum head was reborn? Shark has added a rotating soft brush, so while deep cleaning carpets, you can also grab large particles, pull in piles, and directly engage floors. Duo Clean, invented by Shark. At Fidelity, our online U.S. equity trades are just $4.95. So no matter what you trade, or where you trade, you'll only pay $4.95. Fidelity, open an account today.
Needles, essential for the cactus, but maybe not for people with rheumatoid arthritis, because there are options, like an injection. Xeljanz XR, a once-daily pill for adults with moderate to severe RA for whom methotrexate did not work well enough. Xeljanz XR can reduce pain, swelling, and further joint damage, even without methotrexate. Xeljanz XR can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, lymphoma, and other cancers have happened. Don't start Xeljanz XR if you have an infection, tears in the stomach or intestines, low blood cell counts, and higher liver tests and cholesterol levels have happened. Your doctor should perform blood tests before you start and while taking Xeljanz XR and monitor certain liver tests. Tell your doctor if you're in a region where fungal infections are common, and if you have had TB, hepatitis B or C, or are prone to infections. Needles. Fine for some things, but for you, 1 pill a day may provide symptom relief. Ask your doctor about Xeljanz XR, an injection.
Hey, Janet. Hey, Kim. Can you suggest any good house painters? I'll take quotes from your top 4 guys and free background checks and reviews for each of them.
You can't expect your neighbors to do everything Home Advisor can. So to find and book a top-rated home pro for free, just ask Home Advisor.
No matter the weather, keep your vehicle protected all year long with WeatherTech's laser-measured floor liners. For the front, middle, and a seat protector, and a cargo liner for the rear. It's the perfect way to beat the weather. Go to WeatherTech.com to order yours today. WeatherTech, made right in America.
Whatever you do to stay healthy, you might be missing something. Your eyes. That's why there's Ocuvite. Ocuvite helps replenish nutrients your eyes can lose as you age. It has lutein, zeaxanthin, and omega-3. Ocuvite. Be good to your eyes.
At Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything, even close claws.
We took your shortcut, Savannah.
I can't believe that worked! No, I got the keys.
And we covered it. Talk to Farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Saturday, May 19th, starting at 5 a.m. Robin Roberts and David Muir have your all-access pass to the Royal Wedding. And GMA is right there live all week. And with Robin and Michael at Windsor Castle. Celebrate the Royal Wedding on ABC.
Finally tonight here, Made in America. Last night, the Green Monster. Tonight, the Greenhouses. Getting ready for Mom. Spring is in the air, and so is Mother's Day, coming soon. And all across the country, farmers and florists are hoping you think of them and your mom. In fact, we found flowers from all over the country as soon as you walk into Emily Thompson's flower shop.
Good to see you.
For customers, usually last-minute shoppers.
People are thinking, I need to get flowers today.
And we wondered here in Soho how many of the flowers sold in America are grown in America. Emily buying her flowers from farms from New Jersey to California, even labeling them local. Right here on the tag, you've got local ranunculus.
That's right.
And people feel strongly about supporting American farmers?
Well, I certainly do.
Those local farmers grateful to Emily for selling their ranunculus. Hattow & Sons from Branchville, New Jersey, getting ready for spring months ago. 6 to 8 weeks, we'll have some beautiful ranunculus. The roses, too. All right, so tell me what you have.
So right here we have 2 varieties of garden rose. These are grown in California, and this one is called Kate. And this one is called Francois Rabelais, and that's my personal favorite.
Francois Rabelais?
That's right.
Green Valley Floral, Salinas, California. 45 workers shipping out all over the country. Just in time for Mother's Day. That American flag right there on the box. And in Detroit tonight, they're hard at work, hoping to celebrate your mom.
Hi, David. Lisa from Pot & Box in Detroit, Michigan.
While waiting for the spring bloom, they find American farmers with flowers already.
We reach out to the Slow Flowers Network to connect with American farms.
It's a growing trend. In Chicago tonight.
Hi, David. This is Molly Kubel and Heidi Joy of Field & Florist. We're
Chicago's Wicker Park neighborhood.
We supply over 40 Chicago area florists with flowers from our farm.
While back in Emily's shop, she put us to work. So you have California, New Jersey, Puerto Rico. You've got a lot of America represented right here.
That's right.
Farmers across America tonight saying Happy Mother's Day and saying something else.
Made in America.
Made in America. Can't forget Mom later this week.
The one, the only, Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. Get our Cajun Filet Biscuit combo for just $4.99. Bojangles, it's bow time.
Dude,
When you neglect me, I have ways of letting you know. Fatigue, nausea, shortness of breath, back pain, jaw pain, arm pain, and my personal favorite, chest pain. It puts the squeeze on you, gets your attention, and one call to 911 gets me to the heart and vascular docs at WakeMed. They're the best, even have centers just for chest pain, where it turns out last night's buffalo wings were attacking you, not me. WakeMed Heart and Vascular. Your heart, your choice.
Now at Speedway, any size fountain or frozen drink up to 44 ounces is just 79 cents. So go fizz or freeze, go small or bigger, still just 79 cents.
We know that moving is stressful. That's why when your life changes, my team and I'll be here to get your home sold, guaranteed.
Time and Temps, sponsored by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas.